Good evening, Sandom citizens. I wanted to speak to you this evening because of some recent happenings in our state. Um, First of all, I would like to, seeing as this caused quite a controversy to some certain recipients of Sandom orders and medals, uh, at August 5th, or pardon me, on August 5th, I will be returning from a trip to New Hampshire in the United States. I will be traveling to see family and will be a state visit in order to see, uh, sites of my ancestral past, including sites of the Abenaki tribes that fought in Governor Dummer's War. So I will be returning on August 5th from that trip, and on that day, uh, I will publish a formal directive later this evening. Um, but on August 5th, this government will ask all recipients of medals, uh, orders, and ribbons of the state, so essentially all awards given by the state, we will ask all those recipients to cease the use of postnomial letters. We are doing this, and this is what caused quite a controversy. We're doing this because the next order that we are planning on creating is one that is meant to be profound in its structure, in that there will be 5 classes, and each person will have to begin at the very first class, and to even be awarded the first class would be an honor, simply because it would be so difficult to be awarded the 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 first class, and one has to rank up in the various classes, and that's something that hasn't been happening in our current system. Uh, so towards that regards, it is meant to create this action, and the future system is meant to create a more profound, a more meaningful system of metals. Uh, and we are also planning on creating actual metals. We are creating, um, uh, we are going to create actual ribbons, actual sashes, uh, actual metals, and we will be giving them out in accordance with this new order. Following the foundation of this order, it may be possible that we will create um, other metals, but I do not believe that at this time we will create um, other orders. The order that I'm discussing currently is the most noble order of the Throne of Sandus, um, and there will be 5 classes or niveau. The first class will be the knight, and one would receive a medal. Uh, and the second would be the second class, and that would be the officer. The next would be commander, and then grand officer, and the fifth would actually, keeping in touch with our Native American and Abenaki history in this state, it would be uh, Kuchaya, or Kachaya. I'm actually not certain how one would pronounce that, but it's Kchaia, and it means elder in Abenaki. So essentially, one would receive a medal, and then by the second class, one would receive postnomials, the ability to write postnomials. And by the third, one would receive the medal and a pin, and the postnomials. And it becomes even more difficult to become a recipient of the order at the third class, because one has to be a formal ally of Sandus. That means a treaty must be formed with the country of citizenship that the person is um, coming from. And it is even more difficult in that only two recipients are given to uh, an ally state. So say uh, I would I would have to choose between two people who deserved the third class of the order in, say, St. Charlie. Um, Mr. Reinhardt and, say, Mr. Alvisi. That would also mean that Mr. Lunam or Mr. Small would not be capable of receiving the order, or receiving the third class, rather. Um, by the fourth class, only 10 total representatives, pardon me, recipients, are capable of receiving the order, and by the fifth class, only 5. So it becomes even more difficult to uh, attain the classes and attain the order. Uh, and it is in this sense that we believe it will become more meaningful, and it will be not only a higher ranking order and award in Sandus, but also in this community. Um, yes, yes, that's it. Um, the second issue that we have for tonight is the idea of a Privy Council, and this is just floating around. It's not a formal directive or idea currently in Sandus, but the idea of a Privy Council would create essentially an advising body to this office, and it would be a beginning step, a prototype of a parliament for Sandus, and members would be appointed by this office, um, except for one member who would actually be elected by the people um, directly. And at certain times, the Sôgmô can um, ask for their resignation. Um, the typical members, and I've spent the last few minutes um, assembling this list. It is not formal and it's not complete. And actually, I'll explain that after I go through the list. We have a few members. We have the Lord Chair, who will be the advisor of the government, of the central government, and he will also chair the Privy Council. We have the Lord Treasurer, who will collect tax, uh, and he will also oversee the treasury. We have the Lord Exchequer. Yeah, I'm perhaps saying that wrong. Exchequer, um, who will be overseeing the spending of the government and its debts, and the Lord Treasurer and the Lord Exchequer, Exchequer. Oh my God. um, those roles may be combined into a single um, lord, or peer, rather. The Lord Constable, who will oversee law enforcement. Then we have the Lord Chancellor, who will oversee the courts. Um, Following that, we have the Lord Guard, who will oversee the territorial and sovereign defense of Sandus. Um, Next, we have the well, this position is still being debated in its formal title, but it's Lord Assessor of the party or Lord Representative Peer of the party, and that is a representative of the uh, Citizens Communist Party of Sandus. Next we have the Lord Representative, who is the actual elected representative, uh, directly elected by the people. Then we have the Lord Custodian, who will oversee the emblems and the symbols of the state, and he will keep minutes on the affairs of the Privy Council and all bodies of the, well, bodies and colleges of the central government. Next, we have the Lord Spiritual, who will be a representative of the Collegio Caesarde. Next, we have the Lord Manager, who will oversee industry, agriculture, and trade. Uh, Finally, we have the Lord Ambassador, who will oversee foreign affairs and diplomats and foreign relations. Um, Also, the Lord Spiritual, who is the representative of the Collegio Caesare, cannot be the Sacroflameno. The Sacroflameno is, of course, um, pardon me, is the Sôgmô. Pardon me, the Sôgmô. Um, all of these lords, um, the titles may be exchanged and altered to Right Honorable, so differing from Lord to Right Honorable. And the reason why I wish to do this is because Sandus has a sort of benevolent monarchy in that it doesn't believe in nobility in the sense, but rather it um, it believes in common people working together in a central government. And the reason, of course, why Sandus has a monarchy is not because we do not disapprove of democracy, it's not that we disapprove of republicanism. Rather, it is that Sandus, as we see it, does not have the amount of people, doesn't have the necessary population and the necessary activity to foster a true and productive republic or democracy at that matter. So essentially, the Lord, for instance, the Lord Representative would be the Right Honorable Representative. Um, Furthermore, all these lords, or as I stated, peers, will not come into existence all at once. Rather, they will be incorporated over time. I will form the Privy Council um, when there's more than one peer, and the first peer that I believe that I will ever create, if this system was to go into work, would be the Lord Representative, or the Right Honorable Representative, who is the elected representative by the people. And in this sense, it will be perhaps a commissioner to this government, to the monarchy, from the people. And he will be elected perhaps every 4 months or every year. Um, Personally, I enjoy a term of every 4 months simply because this is micronationalism. And, well, I believe that such period makes sense. However, I may even be so bold as to say that every 3 months, simply because that is a season, and our decisions also change with each season. Um, Following that, it truly depends on well, first of all, on our resources, and it then depends upon the issues at the time as to which peer we will create next. We may create the Lord Treasurer. In fact, that does seem a very capable position simply because Sandus does have a treasury, and um, we do perhaps needs pardon me, an independent overseer of the treasury. Furthermore, uh, we perhaps will need a Lord Representative peer of the party, especially seeing how the Citizens Communist Party of Sandus plays in the politics of Sandus. Um, and then we will most likely have the Lord Spiritual and the Lord Ambassador um, as being further peers following that, especially seeing how Sandus has a strong philosopher, pardon me, philosophical um, importance on understanding and compassion, and also on the understanding of religion. And that is why the Lord Spiritual is there, and of course the Lord Ambassador would be there because Sandus prides in its foreign affairs and diplomatic capabilities. It is as we see it, the strongest asset and the strongest power of Sandus is our diplomacy. Where others may see it as their technology or as their innovation or as perhaps their metals or their systems or um, uh, another example, their position, I don't know, or their uniforms. I'm not sure. Sandus sees its power in its diplomacy. We have always had the belief that we are capable diplomatically as a country to defend ourselves. And in that respect, we are quite capable, I believe, even though it may be a bit controversial at times. Um, yes, if by the time that we do have about 5 peers, uh, and we are seeing on expanding, we are viewing that we will expand, um, we will also adopt a Lord Chair who will advise the government directly, and he will also chair the Privy Council. The Privy Council will play an integral part in Sandus's politics. It is essentially a council of state or a cabinet of the government, but it differs also because it acts somewhat like a legislature in that the people also will elect um, a peer to the Privy Council. Um, so in that respect, it is a rather interesting cabinet, and it is quite an innovation, I believe, for this government. Apart from that, that would be all the news that we have concerning Sandus. Um, I do plan on leaving the beginning of Monday morning. I will discuss this perhaps in detail at a later time. I do plan on seeing in New Hampshire. I do plan on seeing many sites, historical sites of the Abenaki Nation, which is my personal uh, ancestral heritage. Um, I do plan on seeing Lake Lowell, Lovell, I'm not sure. Um, but I do plan on having a very good time, and I do plan on um, learning a lot about my heritage and the demise of the Abenaki Nation and its forced retreat from New Hampshire and Vermont and southwestern Maine into southern Quebec. So that should be an interesting story, uh, especially upon my return. Apart from that, there has been no other news that I can express to our nation. Um, I have recently heard that, um, uh, the Norwegian police have been interrogating that man again. I'm not sure if I could even remember his name, but perhaps that's better because it's a shame. Apart from that, we have also been maintaining, we've begun somewhat unofficial and informal affairs with Ladonia, um, with Her Majesty Caroline um, of Ladonia, a recent elected queen, so we congratulate her with that. Um, apart from that, there's not much else I can report upon. I would like to wish all of you a good evening, or a good night, or a good morning, overall a very good day, and I hope that you will continue to listen to your government, and thank you for listening. Good evening.